Here's a question where you're asked to simplify a complex rational expression, so fractions over fractions. First thing you want to do is with those red things that I've circled there, I want to find a common denominator. So the common denominator, I have an A and a B. Here I've got three A's and three B's. So my lowest common denominator that has to include all of those factors would be A cubed, B cubed. Okay, so then what I do is I multiply the top and the bottom by that denominator. So when I multiply it, I'm going to multiply A cubed, B cubed over 1. And then this one, A cubed, B cubed over 1. So when I multiply, it's a distributive property, so I need to distribute this amongst that and amongst that. I'll just go off to the side here and do the first one. So I have to take 1 over A and times it by A cubed, B cubed. Okay, that's what this first arrow is showing that I need to do. Okay, one of the A's will cancel with one of these. So I'll be left with, I'll just write it beside, A squared B cubed. And then when I multiply by this one, the B will cancel one of those B's. So it'll be plus A cubed B squared. Over, on this one, when I multiply this thing by that, the A's actually cancel out. So I'll be left with a B cubed. When I multiply this by this, and let me just write it over here, 1 over B cubed times by A cubed B cubed. The B cubes cancel out, so this would be A cubed plus, or B cubed plus A cubed on the bottom. Okay, now to simplify it a little bit more, in the top it looks like there's common factors I can take out. It looks like I can take an A squared and a B squared. Okay, if I factor that out of this, I'll just be left with a B. If I factor an A squared, B squared out of that, I'll be left with an A. Over, and then this one, I'm just going to rewrite it alphabetically. So A cubed plus B cubed. And maybe let's do the same thing on the top there. I'm going to write the B plus A as A plus B, commutative property, over A cubed plus B cubed. Now I recognize the bottom here as being a sum of cubes. And so I'm going to factor that. So A squared B squared over A plus B. So this is a sum of cubes. So when I factor it according to that formula, it'll be A plus B and then A squared minus AB plus B squared. Okay, now on the top and the bottom, they both have A plus B, so that'll cancel out. So I'm going to be left with A squared B squared over A squared minus AB plus B squared. And that's where I would finish. Just a couple things to be careful with on this. For example, this right here, those are not like terms. Like the A's are different, and so are the B's. So I can't add those together. I could factor a common factor out like I did here. So that's something that I could do. Yeah. And then the other thing is down here, some people would be tempted to cancel those A squareds or those B squareds. But that minus sign and the plus sign anchor these A squareds and the B squareds. So you can't touch them. Let me get rid of that stuff. So this is where I would finish my answer at.